So now I'm going to start. So what is big data, and then what is the Hadoop ecosystem tools, and then what is the NoSQL? Yeah. Nowadays you are seeing most of like an everything it is going to dependent on the on internet only, and then main of it have to like call an Internet of Things like an IoT. So everything it is like an based on IoT only, means like an everything it is depending on internet only. So like an means in every of domain like an healthcare industry, and then smart sensors, and then homes, and then smart cities, every application like an industrial application, and in every app it is depending on to the internet only. Like we can operate any of our any of things from any somewhere. Suppose if we have in any of our office, or suppose if we are in any some another place, we can operate our any of like an washing machines, or any of like an particles, we can operate from our office or anywhere. So it's totally depend on to the internet only. So the mainly it comes like an the IoT also it is going to handle like an with the big data only we can handle the total of that much of data. And then the most important thing is often Internet of Things is like an how it is like an industrial applications, like in healthcare industry, how it, big data is going to help. We are going to see. Yeah, the mainly the big data sizes. Yeah, big data is everyone look. If you look at anywhere, like in big data means the first important thing is what is big data. Big data nowadays, like an big data means like an everywhere in this new generation, 20th generation, everywhere if you see means the data is generating. Before that, in 19th generation, there is very less data. It's an MBs and GBs of data. But nowadays, it is the data size is increasing because like the population as well as like an online purchasing, and as well as an total of transactions. So like an internet engaging, and everything it is generating petabytes and hexabytes of data. So the meaning is big data means everywhere if you see and data means that it means like in real time of big data only. So let's see the how much of what is going on. Internet of Information. An annual internet of traffic by 2016 is 1.3 gigabytes of data, and then 2.4 millions of emails per minute. So means like a lot of petabytes, hexabytes of data is generating. So and an Internet of Engagement, how it is like in 1.6 billion of users and social media today, means like in Facebook and Twitter and then YouTube. So a lot of data is generating, means it will go up because now it is means like an after the 20th of generation, now people are using an like an IoT, these and all, it is an 20%. In 2017 it will reach definitely an 30%, 40%. Means the data it will be grow, and as well as an data the more of the problems will come. So this much of data is generating, we have to solve that problem. And an Internet of Things, 10 billion connections of devices today, means like in smart sensors, and as well as in like in mobile devices, and so many of data. So it approximately by 2020 it will reach a 50 billion of data it will generate. So big data means it will having a lot of data generating. Let's see an small scenario. So most of people we are using like in Twitter data only. So Twitter data, see what is happening in Twitter data. Every 60 seconds there are 98,000 plus of tweets it is generating, and then 6 lakh 95,000 status update, and 11 millions of instant messages, and then 6 lakh 90,000 of Google searches, and then 1.8 millions of email sent, and as well as 1820 terabytes of data is creating, and 270 of new mobile user. So there is a lot of like, and if you see and there Internet of Things, there are a lot of data is generating transaction data, and then like in network logs, and as well as in, if we are going to search up anything in web things, it is going to create a lot of data. So it is, so the total of it is depending on like a business perspective also. For like in clients also, they have to improve their business strategies. For that one, big data is really helpful, because if we analyze that much of data means like, and they will really know, okay, what is the total of like, and how is our business is going on. So what how it is going to like an helpful to our business or next future market, how it will be. So total of it is dependent on data analyzing, and as well as in data storing is also one of the main part. And then the one of the most thing is before that in 19 it is an structured data only. But nowadays it is in most of like in structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. Structured data means it is in like in transactional data and these things are there. But nowadays most of things are it is in log data. Log data means it is in purely unstructured data. So those kind of data is handling and storing is the most important thing. So how it is big data is going to handle those things. So let's see in the new PPTs. Other sources of big data. A commercial aircraft generates 3 GB of flight sensor data in 1 hour. So every hour it is going to generate aircraft 3 GB of data. Let's assume that how much data it is going to generate per year, and then like an future like an it is an if it is an historical data means like in years of years we have to store and analyze the data. And then take another one more scenario. An ERP system by a mid-sized company grows by 1 to 2 terabytes annually. ERP like an nowadays most of like in small scale industries also they are like an especially they are going to depend on big data means like they have to like see their strategies and then what is their business like and how it is going on, and then how their business levels are improving, and then everything it is depending on data only. So, and one more thing, one important thing is a video surveillance camera generating 1 terabyte data in 3 months means like an video call. So when you are going to like an video cams, everything it is the data it will be stored, and the video calls it will store. After that we have to store that, and actually we have to like an analyze the data. It is like an purely unstructured data. Video calls means it is an totally it is an video file, so we have to analyze the data also. And Airtel or Vodafone generate 3 terabytes of call details records. Means like in telecommunication, most of like in how like in the every they are going to like in record the every call details like in per day every day they are like in 3 terabytes of data. So they're having an every country they have they're like storing their data, and they have to analyze based on that only they will know their business strategies. And then so every day 2.5 quantity of data. So this much of data it is generating, and how we have to solve this, like and how we have to handle and how we have to store the data and how we have to analyze the data. So everything we have to like one system is required. Before that we have a lot of data. Suppose like in video calls are there, and then as well as like in video records, and then like in log files these are there. So it's not possible to store that whole of the data in RDBMS means like in MySQL servers and everything. It will support for only transactional data, and as well as data storage is also one of the main part, and analysis is the main important thing. So let's see how big data it will handle. So let's see once again the data sizes. So when in 18th generation it is in megabytes, and after that it reached to gigabytes, and now it and 1990s it grows up in terabytes of data. Now it is in petabytes, and then in future now also it is in like in raising the data hexabytes of data, and then after that 2020 it will be reaching zettabytes of data, and then after that 2050 these are the data types like in etabytes and then brontobytes of data. So let's assume that this much of data entire the world have to handle, and then clients they have, especially they have to know that everything like they have to handle any such kind of data also they have to handle, and they have to store and analyze big data. So like in every data means like there are three major parts are there. So one is volume, and then velocity and variety. Volume means like how much of data, like in petabytes and exabytes, and in volume, how much volume of data is there. That is the one major concept, volume. And velocity. Velocity means we have a large amount of data, and then we have to process the whole of the data. So like in processing also it is the main part of thing. In RDBMS, suppose if you store an 100 GB of data, if you want to perform any of grouping operation, everything, it will take so much stuff like in processing purpose it will take so much of time. So, but big data, it will handle, it will give you, it will, for terabytes of data also, it will handle within minutes, not in within minutes also. If we increase our cluster sizes, it will increase like in seconds also. And then one other important thing is variety. Variety means like an, it is like an, like an, in 1990 it is an transactional data and then any CSV files. These are the structured data only. But nowadays it is an like a, we have and we, the data is real in real world. There are like an so much of data it is generating. So those kind of data it is like an web logs and then as well as an like an clips and a Facebook and an audio files, images and sensors, everything. So means like it is a different kind of data. One is structured data and an unstructured data and semi-structured data. So big data it will handle every kind of data, structured, unstructured and semi-structured. So these are the four, and one another is veracity. Veracity means like a not constant of data. Suppose in future any of like a new data generated means we have to handle that and in real time streaming data. Suppose if you take an Twitter, we have to collect the real time data and we have to analyze. So those kind of scenario we have to call it as veracity. So these are the four V's of big data. One is volume, velocity and variety and veracity. So how big data is, how big data, especially how Hadoop it is going to handle these four things. Who are the, and let's see, who are the big data customer scenarios? We can like can see IT and we can see an IT industry and then as well as social networks and as well as an traffic control and then a web application and channel analytics and a national resource and a weather forecasting and healthcare domains and in fraud detection. Everything you can see, we can use an big data everywhere because the data is like an, the how is the data and how much of the data is, how much of faster we have to do, everything we have to do. So every industry it will depend on, because if they have to like and really they knows that they have to really understand what is the business strategies and then in future of how they have to improve their business strategies. Everything is dependent on data only. So every of industry they are using a big data. So let's see the another PPT how it is big data is going on. Why Hadoop is popular? So actually big data means like an Hadoop is not equal to an big data. Especially big data means the data is there and how it is going to handle. So Hadoop is the one of the most important tool for handling the everything, like one of the most important tool for data storage and analytics. And then there are another big data tools are there. So it is like an SAP HANA and then some another tools are like an Petaho. These are like an big data handling. So we have to assume that those are also especially in big data tools. But Hadoop it is an separate, it having an some specification and that's why it is having a top of the position. So see how why Hadoop is so popular and how it is going to handle the big data processing and what are the challenges it is like it is going to handle. First thing is commodity hardware. Commodity hardware means like an when you are going to like an SAP these and all, it's really needed like a lot of configure of systems is required and some like in software is required like a super type of computer. But in big data, we can normal, like we can handle with 4 GB RAM of systems also we can handle and then we can manage that and we can make it a cluster and we can set up our Hadoop environment and we can analyze and storage the data. So it is a simple normal environment. So it works on purely on commodity hardware. So no need of like an expensive like no need of super computers and then like an 20-30 GB of configuration system. No need. Just normal like a commodity hardware systems we can use and we can build up our Hadoop environment. And one another thing is Scala. Scala means like an suppose if we say like an for our data storage and analysis part, if we set up and like an some node cluster means like an some system, some environment we set up. After that, if our data is generated means we have to improve our capacity of like an we have to improve our means like we have to attach some like missionaries, we have to attach some RAM sizes and for processing because we have to handle the that much of size of data. So in like some software, suppose if you want to scale up, like if you want to add some another configuration to another environment, like a software environment, we have to destroy the whole of the environment, and after that we have to add that and we have to reconfigure everything. But in Hadoop, it is a purely of scale up means like an we can set up the whole of the like suppose if you set an environment first, after that based on your requirement you can add another one, another some more missions without of disturbing our previous environment, Hadoop environment. So this is the one more advantage, and then one another advantage, expensive. Expensive means like an cost wise also big data it is an really like I'm supposed to say SAP HANA and an SAP some another tools. It is like an some ETL tools also. It is expensive, and then some like an MS SQL server. Everything it is an expensive. We have to purchase that. We have to use that. But in especially Hadoop, it is an open source tool. So everything like an Apache Hadoop, they will provide the whole of that Hadoop, and after that we have to configure. We can use that. So it is an like an open source tool. So we no need to pay. We no need to purchase anything. We have to download this directly from the Apache Software Foundation, and we can configure in our system. We can use. So we no need to pay. So that's why it is an like an expensive edge also. Hadoop you no need to purchase anything. And one more interesting thing in Hadoop, it is an parallel processing. Parallel processing means we have a large amount of data and then we set up in some environment. After that, suppose we have an 100 GB of data in our environment. So at the time, if you want to analyze the data, means we have the data it have to be processed. So if any of system, if it's not possible to handle 100 GB of data at a time, means like it can process the data, but it will like it is a very complexity. Means the processing speed it will be less. So, but in big data Hadoop, if you set up a Hadoop environment, it will parallelly processing means the data it will divide and it will distribute, and then based on the cluster it will assigning the task to the whatever we configured the cluster, and in every node it will process the data, and it will like it will process its own mechanism, and finally it will send total of in Hadoop environment. So it is like an Hadoop, it is totally an parallel processing method. So, and one more important thing is fault tolerant. Fault tolerant means suppose if you have any network problem or any of like a disk problem or any of our hardware problem at that time, so there is a chances to lose the data. Lose the, you suppose if it is a secure data means like a client, banking clients, any of like the data, client data means it is a very important to the every of time. So if anything happen means, so we can suppose if the data loses means it will make a lot of problem and the total of environment it will definitely down. So Hadoop it comes with an fault tolerant mechanism. Fault tolerant mechanism means Hadoop, whenever we are going to store the data in Hadoop, the data it will be divided into or distributed into another like a total of cluster environment. So it will replicate the data into another three more mission. So automatically it will handle the like an any of problem, network problem. Suppose any of like a disk, any of mission, if it is an crashes means we can retrieve the data from some another node. So these are the like an five important things. One is commodity hardware, and second one is scale up means like in scalability, and then one another is like in cost of like in cost wise also it is very less. So we don't need to purchase anything. And one another one is parallel processing, and then another important thing is fault tolerant manner. So let's see. So how Hadoop is going to like in real world. So let's see what is the Hadoop history. Actually, in 2002, like before that, we have a lot of like ETL tools and then data analytics tools are there, and as well as RDMMS tools are there. But but it have need some some changes to the data analytics and data storage parts, because it is unstructured. It will support only structured data, and then it's so many complexities are there for handling the data also. But in 2002, especially dock cutting, it's actually in NewTouch company, it started a totally for big data processing. They started one project. The first makers and Hadoop is dock cutting and Mike Cocorella. Started when they especially they are the employee in NewTouch. So they started their project in 2003, and after that Google in 2003 Google started, and MapReduce paper means for processing purpose they started one engine. So after that in 2004 dock cutting adds an DFS and an MapReduce support to it. Means first they started with processing layer, and then as well as after that they started an storage layer also. In 2004 especially they added the both storage and processing engine. So that's why it is for processing purpose MapReduce, and then storage purpose one file system, distributed file system. So after that 2005 it is an implementing stage, and then in 2006 Yahoo hired cutting. Before that he worked on NewTouch, and after that Google started, and then again he changed it to NewTouch, and then after that dock cutting he changed his company to especially in Apache, and then after that he especially Yahoo hired him, and after that they started a total of deep analytic on that one. So in 2006 it went to a more analytic part, and then after that 2007 NY Times converted 4 terabytes of data images achieved over 100 EC2S. Means they implemented the total of an Hadoop environment. After that they started, and then they tested first. They tested with them 4 terabytes of data. So immediately it given good result, and then it processed the data immediately. And especially in 2008 Yahoo it started fastest start of terabytes of data in 3 minutes. See the total of difference. Before that, in terabytes of data, if you want to process that in RDBMS, it is taking at least 15 minutes to 20 minutes. It won't support in terabytes of data also. It will support in only gigabytes of data. But in terabytes of data, Yahoo, they process totally in 3.5 minutes. First they started the whole of the cluster with a 9-10 nodes, means like a 9-10 missions. With that 9-10 mission, terabytes of data they processed within 3.5 minutes. And after that, Cloudera founded. So Cloudera means I think you already know. So Cloudera also they started implementing the big data Hadoop, and then after that they communicated with an Apache, because the total Hadoop project it is under now is Apache Foundation only. And then after that in 2009, fastest shot of terabytes, 62 seconds over 1.46 nodes, and then shorted by petabytes of data in 16.25 hours for over and 3.3658 nodes. So see, based on the implementing of the data, every year they are making some changes. In that one they are processing with that much of data, and then the processing speed also which is very high. And then Hadoop submit in 2009 and a 750 attendance. So total after that they tested, and then everything it is totally giving a very good result, and the processing speed it is very high, and totally it is making very good result. And then so we have to assume that 2002 they started, and after that 2009 it is fully implemented. And after that right now dock cutting joins in Cloudera, so he's working now in Cloudera. So that's why before that it is totally in Apache Hadoop Foundation, and then after that dock cutting he joined in Cloudera, and he did some changes, and then after that they are building their own environment. So there are so many distribution mechanisms are there, especially in Apache Hadoop, and as well as in Cloudera, and then as well as in Hortonworks, and then MR, and then as well as recently Amazon also they started Elastic MapReduce. So everything they're having in their own distribution mechanisms. So let's see what is Hadoop. Apache Hadoop is an open source software framework storing and processing large volume of data. Especially Hadoop, it's an before that based on our early discussion, I already told you it is an open source software and it is totally it is a framework. We have to call it is an like an open source framework for storing and processing the large volume of the data set. Means like an petabytes and exabytes and terabytes and exabytes of data. So we have to assume that Big Data Hadoop is open source software framework for storing and processing large volume of the data set. And then Hadoop it is a fault tolerant distributed file system for storing and parallel computing for processing. So before that we already seen. So it is like a fault tolerant mechanism. So if we lost the data in any of it also, we can retrieve the data from some another mission. Means like if you lose our data also, we can process the data, we can store our the data, we can retrieve the data from some another mission, and we can process the data in another mission. So that is a fault tolerant mechanism. No high or expensive systems are required. Means that we don't need to purchase like in supercomputers, or we don't need to take any of licenses. So it is a totally it is a free open source and can run on Linux, Mac OS, Windows, and Solaris. So it's totally like some kind of software. It will work for only some kind of OSs only, especially so. But in Big Data Hadoop, we can set up environment any of OS, like an Linux environment or in Windows and Solaris, everywhere we can set up. So we can run our Hadoop any of OS environment. And one other thing is fault tolerant system. Execution of the job continues even if nodes are failing. Means like suppose if we store in data, large amount of data in one of the clusters. Suppose if any of node if it happen anything means we can retrieve the data from some another mission. We can process the data. So there is no way to lose the data. There is no way to work down. So that is the concept. It accepts failures as part of system, and then so means like it will show the total of entire of like whether any of like a node is working or not. Everything it will show up. So based on that one, we can retrieve the data from some another mission. So those are the main important things. So what is Hadoop? Apache Hadoop is like an open source framework for storing and processing large volume of the data sets, and as well as it is a fault tolerant mechanism and especially distributed file system. And then it is we don't need to purchase anything, and then as well as we can run we can set up our Hadoop environment any of OS like Linux environment or Windows and Solaris any kind of environment we can set up, and then as well as fault tolerant system. And what is Hadoop? Let's see, and one more time. And highly reliable and efficient storage system. And means like some database like it will support to only storage only structured data only. But we have to store the any kind of like structured data, unstructured data, semi-structured data. So we can store and analyze any such kind of data. So that's why it is like a highly reliable and an efficient of storage system. Main features of let's see what is the main features of Hadoop. One is distributed storage. Means like once we store the data, automatically it will distribute the data into some another system, means in all over the cluster, and as well as a fault tolerant mechanism. Fault tolerant means we can retrieve the data from some another missions also, and horizontal scalability. Horizontal scalability means based on our requirement, in future we can add the n number of nodes to our Hadoop environment, and as well as it is an open source. We don't need to purchase anything, and then a commodity hardware. So we don't need to make our Hadoop environment on a total of like an expensive. It is like we can set up our Hadoop environment, our common systems like an 4 GB or 8 GB machineries also we can set up an Hadoop environment. And a main important thing is parallel processing. So data with the parallel processing mechanism, the data processing it will be speed. And then fit for lot of applications, especially like in weblog processing, and then page indexing, page ranking, and then complex event processing. So it will fit like an fit for any type, any kind of application. Means like an online purchases also, and then as well as in weblogs and then video, and then as well as in like an text kind of data also we can store and analyze. So we seen that total of the what are the Hadoop features and everything. So what are the Hadoop components, basic components? So we have to mainly we have to understand data storage is the one of the part, and then as well as data processing also one of the main important part. So Hadoop it have to be handle the both of that. And some another ecosystem tools are there, but mainly that the Hadoop having an two components. One is HDFS and then MapReduce. HDFS means like it is totally for storage mechanism. Like, that's why it's called an HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. So any of like we can store the large volume of the data and the whole of the suppose we have a terabyte of data. So for that one, at least we have a 10 missions. Suppose if we have a petabytes of data means we have to set up an at least an 10 node mission. So the whole of the environment like whole of the mission it have to be contained one server, and we have to assume that that is in one cluster. So the total of center of point that one is HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. So we can store the data. HDFS means it's totally Hadoop Distributed File System, and we can store any kind of data. And then whatever the data we are going to store in our local, like in our the Hadoop server, it will whole of it will contain in one layer that is called HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. And one another important thing is, so we have a storage mechanism, and the next level is processing, data processing. Data processing mechanism, especially in we have to call it is a MapReduce. MapReduce program. So it is called like the second component is an MapReduce framework. So it will work on parallel processing computing. So wherever the data is resides in cluster, so we can connect the our mission to the HDFS, means like an storage part, and we can analyze the data. So these are the main two important components. One is HDFS and second one is MapReduce framework. So we have to assume that HDFS is for storage part and then MapReduce is for processing purpose. So especially we see that like an HDFS and then MapReduce. So storage part and then as well as an parallel processing. So we have to understand the total of Hadoop environment. So how it will be and then how it will work, everything we have to understand. So especially Hadoop, it is a master and slave architecture. Means the total of, so suppose if we have an 10 mission or 100 node mission, whole of it have to be communicate with each one, and after that all our nodes it have to be communicate with one, especially one node. One means one node it have to be handle the whole of the storage layers, and then as well as the whole of the nodes it have to be maintained. So that's why it calls them master and slaves. Usually master means like it will handle the whole of the framework, and it will handle the whole of the nodes, and then it will handle the total of data storage, and then it have to be handle the whole of the entire cluster. And slave means like it have to be received, and after that it have to be analyzed, it have to send the signals to the master. So let's see in masters. Especially in Hadoop framework, masters we have a totally we have an 5 daemons in Hadoop framework. The daemons like when we are going to start the Hadoop at that time, we have to see and we have to take that it is an 5 daemons it have to be run. Means the whole of the 5 daemons running means our cluster is working fine. Otherwise, something is problem, our cluster is having a problem, so it is not working fine. So let's see what are the master nodes, what are the slave nodes. Master node means name node and secondary name node and job tracker. So we have, let's see, especially data storage it have to be kept, and after that data analysis is there. So master mission means it have to be take the data, and after that it have to be whatever it have to assign the data to slaves, and after that whatever the processing, backend processing, everything it have to be retrieved, and what is happening the total of in framework, everything it have to be detect, everything. So it have to be one mechanism will be there. So master, let's see the master nodes. Master nodes are especially name node and job tracker and secondary name node. Name node means it is like a master node. Master node means whatever whatever the total of nodes. Suppose if you have a 10 node mission means all of the it is definitely it have to be contain one master node. Means the all of the data it have to be contained in name node only. So means it have to show the whole of the, like it have to be communicate entire data and everything, every node it have to communicate with the name node only. So that's why it's called a name node. Name node is master mission, and then it will connect with an every of data node, and then secondary name node. Secondary name node means like an, so name node it is containing the every of like a metadata information and a data information, directory information, everything it will contain. Suppose if cluster, we have in one cluster. Suppose if we lose any of data, so at least we have to retrieve the data. So the purpose, for backend purpose, Hadoop framework is designed one node. It is a secondary name node. Secondary name node means like it is not a fully a backup to the name node. It is like a so much of, suppose if we have a data, something went wrong to the Hadoop cluster. So at least some amount of data we can retrieve with this secondary name node. And job tracker. Job tracker especially, it is also like an master node, especially. So name node it will contain the whole of the data, and then it will assign to the slave node. Whatever data nodes assigning data, it will process the data, and when the processing at that time in backend in Hadoop framework, what kind of jobs are running, and what kind of like an mechanism is going on. So total of it have to be detected. So one master node it have to be there. So that is job tracker. So it will detect, it will connect with an every of data nodes, and then after that it will show that it will like an, it will take the total of process. Suppose if you are going to run the any job at that time, first job tracker it will detect, okay, which job ID it is generated, what kind of jobs are running, everything it will detect, and after that then finally when processing is over at that time it will detect, and it finally it will send to the name node only. And slave mission, see what are the slave mission? Slave mission are data node and job tracker. So data node means like it is a data storage part. So like we have a 10 node mission. 10 node mission means like each mission it will store the data, and then after that it have to be processed the data, and so the total of data it will contain in data node only, in the same mission only. But total of entire it will connect to the cluster. Cluster means server. So server it will connect to the name node. So the total of information. So okay, total of 10 mission, what is the data is there, and which directory, where is the data, so which machine is going to process the data, everything it will connect to the name node. So data node is means like an, it is an storing the data. Storing the data, it is like a slave node, and it will store the data in a framework, especially in the own mission. And then job tracker. Job tracker means, so okay, data processing is in a data node, and after that it how to be process the data. So job tracker it will take the, like, and when you are going to process, when you are going to execute a program at the time, what happen, it will like it will run the job, and after that whatever, like, and suppose 10 mission, so every member he is going to run one job. So the job means like an every mission, every like an every of node it is running their own process, means like an the total of task tracker means like we have in one task, and after that we have running one task, the total of task is how to be processed. So the entire process it will be like a task tracker node. So the task tracker whole of it will communicate with job tracker. So we have to, so we have a total Hadoop, it is a master and slave architecture, and in this master and slave architecture, it is a totally 5 nodes will be there, name node, and then a job tracker, and a secondary name node, and data node, and then task tracker, Hadoop architecture. So let's see the brief introduction. So what will happen? So how we have to how data will be, we have to keep it in Hadoop architecture, and how it will contain, how the file will be stored, everything we will see here. So usually client when to pull the data means like how to store the data. So first client he will pull the data into name node. Name node means the data information where he is going to pull the data, everything. First he will communicate with name node only. So client he pull the data into an like an we have he having a like an some like an such kind of large huge amount of data. So he pull the data into name node. So name node it will obviously it will communicate with an data nodes only. So let's assume that so we have an two files are there, data 1 and data 2. And one more important thing is Hadoop it is an distributed mechanism. Distributed mechanism means like an replicating. Distributed means like an replicating. Means like before that our earlier discussion, Hadoop it works on fault tolerant mechanism. Fault tolerant mechanism means it have to be retrieve the data from the some other node. Means it have to be replicate the original data into some another node. Means some another nodes, some other mission. It have to be replicated. So by default, Hadoop the replication factor is 3. Means suppose when suppose here one mission will be there. Suppose client first of all he will pull his data into name node. After that name node it will pull the data into one, especially in one mission, one data node. So the replication is it will replicate the data into one mission, and obviously the data it will be replicated into the some another node. It will the framework it will handle the total of like and replicating and everything. Sequentially it will replicate into data into another mission. Suppose one of the mission it having an it's already having an 100 GB of data, and some mission it having an 20 GB, and someone it having an 50. So Hadoop framework when we are going to pull the data at that time, it will check which one having an free space, and in the framework obviously it will replicate the data, and then the actual name node it will be one only, but it will replicate the data into three another blocks. Means like then and then the data in Hadoop framework, the main one important thing is when we are going to store the data at that time, the data it will be stored in blocks. Blocks, the for seeing purpose, the data it will be in one, especially one folder only. But innerly it will divide the data into blocks. So blocks means it how to process that one block. So by default, Hadoop when comes at that time in Hadoop 1 version, especially it having the block size is 64 MB. But in Hadoop second version, it changed. Now it is an by default it is an 128 MB. So the file seems like it is an one seems like it is an it is in one folder only, one directory only. But obviously it will replicate into some another three mission. The block each and every data it will divide it into blocks, and automatically when name node it places the data into any of data node, it will replicate the data into some another node. See here, first it replicate the data into especially this data node, and after that it replicate the data into some another blocks, especially in here, and then as well as here. It replicated data into here. So and after that, and like in client we process the data, and then with the help of task tracker and we process the data. So obviously client have to be read the data. So he will write the data from here, and then as well as after that, like in the whole of the information it will be here only, name node only. So client always he will communicate with name node. First client he will ask name node where is the exact of data, and then after that analysis where is the data is residing, and after that name node will detect, okay, especially the data is especially in this data node. So please client read data from this. So he will read the data from, especially from any of any of data node. So the data, actual data, it is in here, and after that, he can retrieve the data from anywhere. Suppose any of any of uh, any of data node is failed, so he can retrieve the data from some other two data nodes also. So it's the total architecture, it is a master slave. So and then whole of the a data nodes, it communicate with a name node. So name node is a master node especially. So it will show the whole of the data directories, and then as well as an replication, where the data is replicating, everything it will contain. And a name node, especially it stores the whole of the data in the own mechanism, and it will replicate the data into some another node, and then the replication factor is 3. And then block size, the total of data, it will divide it into blocks. So the block size is 128 MB. And see once again, what is and how the data it will be stored in HDFS. So replication means like an HDFS, like an data, it will be like an HDFS means Hadoop distributed file system. So as our early discussion, HDFS it is for a storage part. So how data it will be stored and how it will be processed. So HDFS especially it is for storage mechanism. So first name node will name node will first client, he will pull the data into name node. After that name node, it will communicate with every of data node, especially any of like an data node 1, data node 2, data node 3, data node 4. So first client, he will pull his data into name node. Actually, he won't pull the data in name node also. Name node especially, it will show where is the data exact of where is the which node client have to place his data. So actually, whenever he is going to pull the data at that time, he will pull the data into any of data node. He will pull his data into data node 1 or data node 2, data node 3, data node 4, anywhere. But obviously, the whole of the communication in between name node and data node only. So client, he pulled his data, and then the block size, it is an 64 MB, or in second version it is an 128 MB. So client, he pulled data into any of data node. Let's see here, the red mark, it is an the data it is in block. So B1 block especially, it is in 128 MB. After that, it will replicate the data into third node. See here, one another replicating, and then after that in data node 4 also it is having replication factor. So suppose if any of these caches are network failure at the time, we can, if we lose any of data from data node 1, we can retrieve the data from data node 3 or data node 4. So this is a fault tolerant mechanism, and replication factor is 3. So based on that one, sequentially it will replicate the data into another data nodes. MapReduce. As our earlier discussion, MapReduce, it is especially for processing purpose, data processing framework. So how it will process the data? So every app storage processing engines, it having its own mechanism. So in Hadoop also for processing, it having a MapReduce mechanism, MapReduce framework. So let's assume that we have one file, it is an input. So especially MapReduce, when the MapReduce means when we are going to run one job, means when we are going to execute our program at the time, backend it will run a MapReduce program. MapReduce program means it having a mainly two pages. One is mapper and second one is reducer. So see that what is a mapper? First mapper, it will collect the data from the input, and then after that taking an input, what it will be, the mapper, how it will divide the data. See, let's see here, mapper, the actual input data, it is one only, but here we can see that three mappers are there. Mapper says, why it is here 3? Mapper, it is equal to the block size. Suppose if we have an, obviously it will run 4 mappers. So block size is equal to the split size is equal to block size. So based on that one, it will divide the total number of mappers and it will start the process. So it will take the input from the input data, and then after that the mappers will run, and after that it will segregate the data, it will divide the data, and then after that processing it will store the data into local disk, because the process is running anyway, but the data it have to be stored somewhere, means like it have to be in buffer. So it will store the data in local machine, and after that partial reserve. Suppose if you perform any of like a filter condition at that time, the data chunk of data it have to be removed, and the filter data it have to be shown. So it have to be like a short and shuffle operation, like the whole of the data it have to be compressed, and the final output it have to be given. So after that short and shuffle operation, like after that segregation, so the data it will go to the reducer phase. Reducer phase means like it will reduces and then compress the data. So mappers it will collect the total of data, and then mapper phase it will collect the data, and it will divide it into number of mappers. It will start it and processing, and after that it will store the data into local disk, and then once the data storaging is part is over, and then it will start the reducer phase. Reducer it will collect the data from the mappers, and then after that it will do some operations based on that key, and it will perform the output. So finally it will send the data into HDFS. One more thing we have to see here, in MapReduce frame, like in Hadoop framework especially, the whole of the communication means like the total of MapReduce communication, it will always between HDFS to HDFS only. Means we have to retrieve the data from HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System, and after that whatever the final output we have to store in Hadoop Distributed File System only. And see here, mapper phase, how it will be. First of all, it will take the data from input from the mapper input split, and after that mapper, when the mapper is receiving at that time, it will generate the data into key value pairs. Means like in the data means one key it will be there, and then value it should have to be there. So the data it will divide into key value pairs, and after that completion of key and value pairs, it will set it an key and list of values, because based on that key only it have to be reduce the data. Means that all of the data based on that key only the value should be generated. So it will collect the data from the input, and then after that it will generate the key value page, and then after that when the data is going on to the reducer page, before the data it will be key and list of values. So key and list of values are the mapper input, and then after that the final output is list of key value pairs. So when mapper receives at the time it is a key value pair, and then after that completion of mapper page it is a key and list of values, and then after that the output of key and list of values to the reducer, it is sent to the final output is key and values only, key and value pairs only. So the total of communication in between HDFS to HDFS. So this is the main processing way in MapReduce framework. So we seen that like in total of like in storage parts are there, and then processing engines are there, and then how the HDFS it will be store the data, and then how the processing engine in MapReduce framework, everything we seen. So let's see, and every framework like is having a like some kind of tools are there. Those are the ecosystem, like one tree will be there. So like all kind of data we have to analyze. So there are a lot of ecosystem tools in big data. Right now it is on nearly 100 tools are there, but especially in major tools are those are the Hadoop ecosystem tools are there. Before that we seen HDFS. This is an I already told you, right? This is also one component, HDFS, Hadoop Distributed File System. Especially it is for a distributed file system designed to run on commodity hardware. Means like it is a storage part. Whenever you are going to store the whole of the data, you have to be stored in HDFS only. And MapReduce framework. MapReduce framework means again it is for processing purpose. Means like it is parallel processing. Each node it have to be processed, and the final output have to be stored in Hadoop Distributed File System only. And some another interesting tools are there. Means like in every framework, like why Hadoop it is famous. It have to be like any kind of any kind of another. Suppose if anyone comes from MySQL RDBMS, they too have to they too have to understand the Hadoop file system, and they too have to really switch to the big data environment, means like an Hadoop environment. So those kind of tools are there. And suppose some person, especially, they will know Java programming only. So those kind of persons also, they can switch to big data. Like someone, if suppose someone having an Python, like a programming knowledge in Python, any of Scala, so they can also learn simply the big data. So some kind of tools are in Hadoop ecosystem tools, and one is Hadoop distributed file system, and then MapReduce framework for processing purpose, and then one interesting tool is Apache Pig. Apache Pig, it is a tool for, especially, it is a data flow language, and then as well as it is a scripting language for expressing the data analysis program. So the entire of data storage part, it will be an Hadoop distributed file system, means like an HDFS only. So we have to data processing purpose, we have to see the some another tool. So these are the Apache Pig, especially it is a tool for data processing especially. So data processing, it's having it is a scripting, it is a scripting language. Means like it is not having any of a Java. We should not write any of Java and then any of Python, everything. It's having it an own programming, like an own scripting language there. That is called an Piglet. So it is purely for data analysis, and as well as it is a very simple commands are there. Suppose if you want to perform any of count function and a group by function at the time, we have to write a number of lines in Java. But in Pig, suppose if you want to write any Java program 100 of lines, instead of that, the whole of the functions, if you can write the only few lines, it is in just 5-6 lines only, the total of implementation, it will be over. So these kind of an Apache Pig, it is especially for scripting language for expressing data analysis programs. Okay, and then Apache Hive. So someone like an framework, especially it is for Java developers, Java programmers, so they can write their Java means MapReduce, especially it built up with them Java, built up on Java only. But suppose someone they came from RDBMS, so they too have to understand, means one application is there, means it have to be support for all kind of all kind of people. So it have to be some kind of mechanism, it should be needed. So Apache Hive, especially it is for SQL language, means so many people they already know an SQL. It is because it is a very simple commanding line. So it is a simple querying language. So those kind of people also they can switch to big data, big data Hadoop. So for that one tool is there, that is an Apache Hive. Apache Hive, especially it is for SQL kind of language to query data from HFS. So you can normally the data it will be in HFS. So similar, it is an almost 90% of query related to SQL. So for SQL programmers, Apache Hive it is a very good ecosystem tool. And one another important thing is Apache Scoop. Apache Scoop, it is an especially a data transferring tool. Suppose if we have an data in our relational databases, like a MySQL or Oracle, so at the time we have to retrieve the data from any of RDBMS to our Hadoop environment. So at that purpose, Apache Scoop one tool is there. It is usually it is useful for transferring the data from RDBMS to Hadoop, and as well as we can we can import the data from RDBMS to Hadoop, and we can export the data from Hadoop to RDBMS. Means HDFS Hadoop to MySQL or Hadoop to Oracle on MySQL to Hadoop. So this is one kind of tool for data transferring. And Apache HBase. Apache HBase, and then especially Hadoop distributed file system, especially Apache HBase. So we have an data storage part. We are already having a Hadoop distributed file system, HDFS. So HBase especially it is a NoSQL databases, and then especially it is a column oriented database for real time read and write queries. So it is a, like an it is also usually it calls an like an for storage in part we have to assume. And one another important tool is Apache Flume. It is a tool to move and streaming data to Hadoop cluster. As our early discussion, I already told like a real-time streaming data. Suppose today Twitter is there. So nowadays, most of business like an business application, they are really looking to the sentiment analysis. Like and what people like and what kind of thoughts they having, what they are really thinking our product. So people have to really know. So what is happening in social analytics also. So social analytics also one of the most important thing in nowadays for business. So Apache Plume especially it is an tool for a tool for like moving the real-time streaming data into Hadoop environment. So we can retrieve the real-time streaming data and we can store in a Hadoop environment and we can analyze here. So it is the tool. Apache Uji. It is a workflow scheduler system to manage the Hadoop job. So Apache Uji especially it is for like an scheduling. So whatever like an Pig, Apache Pig, Apache Hive, Apache Scoop, like an automating the tool. Like means like an when like an suppose to say we have to retrieve the data from Twitter. So at that time we have to use an Apache Flume. After that for storing the data into HRFS we have to use one more mechanism. And after that analyzing part like suppose an Pig or Hive at that time one mechanism will be there. So these are like an automating like an flow. It is a workflow only, right? So we can set up the whole of the tool and then we can like an when the job is running at that time it have to be run automatically and after that finally it have to be generate the output. So it is an like an so workflow scheduler system to manage the Hadoop job. Hadoop use cases like an especially for log data means like an Amazon and as well as an Flipkart and as well as an so many on like an online purchases nowadays most everything is from online purchases only. So like an if even do you know so when you are going to search anything in Amazon at that time every like in every search it will generate an one new log. So they will collect the whole of the data and then they will store in their storage mechanism. After that, they will analyze the data. Based on that, they can predict this, like how it is the product is really going on. So how what kind of product is going to really into big world. So what kind of product people is really looking. So everything it is. So the main it is support for purely the main important thing is so suppose if we haven't such a data at the time RDBMS is normal. But if we have an unstructured data, semi-structured data at the time, Hadoop it really helpful. Hadoop use cases. So we can see that any of before that we already seen big data exploration like in finding, visualization, understanding all big data to improve the business knowledge and then enhance of 360 degrees of view to the customers means like an so how the customer is whether he's a good customer everything we can predict because based on the data we can analyze that we can analyze and we can predict simply and security intelligence and extension so like an security purpose also like an fraud detection and then as well as in customer channel analysis and then also an operation analysis everything we can use in big data who are using in big data so nowadays most of so many even if it is a startup to MNCs like a multinational companies also they are using big data Hadoop especially because why before that like it's having a complex so many complexities within RDBMS and data managing and data analyzing everything but in big data it is really making an boom right it is really helpful to the any of customers so area of client so that's why almost IBM and Samsung and as well as Yahoo, HP, these are every company they are using a big data only vendors integration like so with the help of big data some another tools also it came and then like an Pentaho it is an one ETL tool and Teradata and then Talent Jaspersoft So these are like an ETL tool. So it can simply integrate with an Hadoop, and then with that help of like an Hadoop, it is really helpful to the every app customer. So so Apache Hadoop, especially the Hadoop, it comes with an Apache distribution only. Means like an still it is in Apache Foundation only, but in some like an distribution Hadoop distributions are there. One is Hortonworks and then Cloudera and MapReduce, and recently Amazon started it is an Elastic MapReduce, and then some other companies also they are still implementing, but the major like distributions are Apache. So that's why we have to call it is an Apache Hadoop, and then as well as Hortonworks, and then as well as Cloudera and Mapper. So like what are the requirements to learning an Hadoop? So basically we can get one confusion. So for the learning of big data Hadoop, so what I need, so what kind of tools, what kind of knowledge I need, so in which particular place I have to expertise. So everything we have to know that, right? So for the learning of big data, so we need some major of we need some like a knowledge on that one. So those are in mainly Linux basic commands. So normally like in Linux commands, you already having a definitely people having almost a Linux command. So Linux command is needed, and then core Java basics. Some people tell, okay, Java is a mandatory for some people will ask Java is whether Java is mandatory for learning and big data, but it's needed. Means some concepts Java basics is needed, because Hadoop MapReduce framework, it's totally built upon Java only. So suppose if we have a more complex of data, suppose if we have a pure unstructured data at the time, we have to analyze the data. So at that time, we have to write some Java codes, or we can implement your code in Python or Scala, and you can run in Hadoop environment. So some basic core core Java concepts are needed, and then see here. Whether Java is, you can ask if Java is compulsory or not. Tools like in Hive, Pig that are built on top of an Hadoop offer their own high-level languages for working with an data on your cluster. Means so suppose if someone having an okay, I have an only SQL kind of knowledge. So can I learn big data Hadoop? Especially yes, because it having some tools like an Apache Hive. Before that, I already told you, it is like a similarly 90% of SQL query. And Pig, it is also very simple scripting language. Later we will see how it will be. And then high-level abstraction provided by Apache framework like an Pig, Hive, for which familiarities of Java not required. Pig can be programming in Pig Latin, and Hive can be programming using an HiveQL. So it having its own mechanism. Hive, it's when the Hive is, when you are going to execute the query at that time, you have to assume that it is an HiveQL. Means HiveQL means like an Hive plus SQL. So it is related to 90% of SQL. Pig, it is an different kind of programming, but it is an normal scripting. Both of the programs will be automatically converted to MapReduce programs in Java. See here. So HDFS, it is an storage layer, and in processing purpose, before that I already told you MapReduce framework. So when you are going to run your program, when you are going to execute, when you are going to analyze your data in Pig and Hive at the time also, backend the MapReduce program only it will run, because Hadoop it built upon HDFS and MapReduce. So when any of queries, when you are going to run your SQL query also, backend it will run in MapReduce program only. MapReduce program means like a mappers and reducers will run. The finally output it will generate. Non-Java languages. If you want to write your own MapReduce code, you can do definitely, because we haven't Pig, Hive, and some other tools are there. So in any language like Python or Perl or Ruby, any kind of programmers Hadoop framework it will support. That supports reading from standard input and writing to standard output with an Hadoop streaming. So So it have to be support for any of like an if suppose if it supports an only for Java developers means even almost so many person they don't know Java programming. So some person they really knows and they can Python and Ruby at the time. So they can also write their own Java code, Python code or any of Ruby code, and they can use it in Hadoop framework. So those kind of is enough for like a, the basic Java is needed, but if it is if they having an some core Java basics means that is enough, and then as well as SQL basics. So I already told you right. So for an Hive and then some kind of tool, SQL basics is needed. That is enough for that. I already told you is big data is only on Hadoop. Really, it is not because it's having a lot of tools are there. Big data means large amount of data. Large amount of data means so many tools are there. SAP, HANA, and then as well as some ETL tools. Everything it is, comes into a big data only, like an statistical modeling R. So these all are also in one of the like an big data tools only. So the major is, but in big data Hadoop, especially Hadoop, it is in top place. So, and one more important thing is, so for like an so we seen that like in storage part and data analysis part like in some tools like in Pig, Hive for data transferring purpose like in Scoop tool and a data streaming purpose Flume. These are there. But now I am going to explain the one more important thing is NoSQL databases. I think you already heard. NoSQL databases means see here NoSQL. NoSQL means not only SQL, nothing like that. Not only SQL. Means like an SQL is having some complexities there. The main first important thing is with the RDBMS we can store only gigabytes of data, and as well as we can store only especially transitional data, and then normal structured data only we can store. But why it like an NoSQL database is very famous? Because those are the we can store the especially unstructured data also, and then as well as we can store the petabytes and exabytes of data also, and then as well as processing speed also it is very high in NoSQL databases. Compare with SQL, NoSQL databases it will be 1 into 10. Means like can suppose in NoSQL database if if they take especially for 1 TB of data it take 10 minutes of time, but in NoSQL databases it will give in only 1 minute. The result it will come into only 1 minute. So that much of faster. So SQL is nothing but not only SQL. So let's see the deep introduction in NoSQL databases. Limitations at the database type. So it means like in NoSQL, like in relational databases, especially the whole of the data it have to be, and after that it will communicate with a server, and then after that whatever the data is, like an the data it will be in server, and then the scalability also it is in very less because suppose if we have an terabytes of data is there, so we have to add a lot of like so many machineries because it will support only gigabytes of data. So the developing stage development also it will be more, and then the cost also it will be more. But in Hadoop, like an especially it commodity hardware and as well as an petabytes and exabytes of data, it will support processing also it will be speed. NoSQL at the database type. See here, before here one total of data it will be in one machine only, like in one remote machine only it will be there. And then so when they're connecting with a web servers at the time, but when the backend totally it have to be communicated with an one relational database only. Suppose if you lose an one relational database machine means the whole of the data it will be deleted. But in NoSQL databases especially they can distributed store. So when data is going to distribute at that time, it will divide the data into like another data from another machine. So we can retrieve the data from somewhere, and then any kind of data we can retrieve and we can store. So means like so based on the term we can implement like we can add the some another number of nodes, and then we can analyze the data, and then we can store the n number of data like in petabytes, exabytes of data. Challenges with traditional databases. It is not a good fit for large amount of data. Like in a petabyte, if we want to store in petabytes of data, it won't support. and then with an varying data types, like an image, suppose if you have an images, videos and text, suppose if you have an like weblog, at that time especially it won't support, because it will support purely for structured data only, means like a normal CSV file and real-time translation file it will support. But if you have an like a different kind of data, unstructured data, it won't support, and cannot scale for large volume of data. Suppose if you have an daily, if your data is generating petabytes and exabytes of data at that time, it won't support. It like a means like an it is the data size is more, but in a SQL for storaging and analyzing part, it won't support for much data. Um, Suppose like an 50 to 20 petabytes of data in government of India other project. So like especially in India, one other project, like everything, every details it comes into an total one of project. So every detail it will be it will be in an one system. So it's like an so the total of it is having an like an petabytes of data. So that petabytes of data for RDBMS it's not handled. So the total of data is stored and analyzing in a big data Hadoop. So they also really use an big data Hadoop especially, and then NoSQL databases they use. So and then one more important is schema based. For NoSQL, for especially in our RDBMS, we have to write down some codes for that, like column names we have to mention, and as well as schema, like data types we have to mention everything, like and it's purely schema based. Fixed columns like and while creating table, difficult for an adding more columns for existing tables, and then and as well as scale up limited by memory and processing capabilities. Again, if you increase of more CPU also, it won't support for petabytes exabytes of data. And then as well as in shading causes party operations problems and managing shared failures. Suppose when we are going to share in our Hadoop, Apache Hadoop, when we are going to store the data at that time, the data it will be distributed into some another machine, so we can retrieve the data. But in RDBMS, it's not having that kind of mechanism. And in consistency, a bottleneck neck for scalability in RDBMS. Suppose if you have an if you have an MySQL server, after that you have an your data is increased. So after that, suppose if you want to add any another like any another means any other server means you have to configure. So at that time the data, suppose if it is a remote server means okay, the data backup it will be there. Suppose if your data is in your machine, after that if you want to configure to the another machine at the time, you have to reset up the whole of the cluster. So those kind of scalability is not in RDBMS. Why NoSQL? It is a flexible schema. Flexible schema means you can write the schema and some NoSQL databases. You based on your based on your selecting NoSQL databases, you can write the schema, or some some NoSQL databases you cannot write an schema also. And then distributed. One of the major important thing is distributed mechanism, and then horizontal scalability means you can add the n number of nodes based on your requirement, and then non-relational means it's not supported for an real-time translations also, and then as well as replication means the data it will be replicated into some other node. If you have any problem with any of data node, we can retrieve the data from some another data nodes, and then open source. So you should not like an SAP HANA or any of MySQL servers you have to purchase, but NoSQL databases you can simply download from their website, and you can use it there only. So it is a purely open source. NoSQL databases categories means so it has there are so many NoSQL databases are there, and each one is having its own mechanism. And one is key value store databases, and then column oriented databases, and then document oriented databases, and graph oriented databases. Key value databases, like in what is the key and then what is the value, so those kind of there. And then column oriented database. Column oriented database means especially in RDBMS it is like a row oriented, but in especially in NoSQL databases all are it is an column oriented means like an the one column, like in one column. Suppose if we have an USA means all of the like so many states will be there, and then after that like suppose one simple scenario. Suppose if we have an one organization, and after that that organization each like an each of department is having an so many employees, that the total of information will be there. So the column is that employee the column is like an organization, and inside that organization the total of information we can store. So when we are going to process at that time, the querying it will be speed, because it is a column, so we are retrieving data from only one column, which like we are not going to retrieve the data from total of like a row basis. So column based means it will be faster. So that's why document oriented databases like an suppose if you have an like a JSON files and these kind of files like an at that time document oriented databases, there are some NoSQL databases are there, especially it is in MongoDB. It is an one kind of like a document oriented database. Later we will see that one also. And then graphic oriented means like, and when the data stored at that time, based on that one we can generate some graphs, and then we can see the data on the graphs. So those kind of databases are also there. So NoSQL database categories. We already seen HBase. I already told you, right? By default, Hadoop comes with an NoSQL databases. It's called an HBase, and then MongoDB. It is a document-oriented database, and then Cassandra. It is an like a key value page especially, and then KazuDB, and then as well as Sonses and Redis, and then especially Amazon DynamoDB, and then Neo4j. Neo4j especially it is like a graph-oriented database. NoSQL use cases. Facebook chat messages, user notifications, and then as well as an graph search. Especially like an these are some kind of like an useful things with a NoSQL databases. And then NoSQL use cases. Suppose if you see an Facebook chat messages, emails, and an SMS. So the whole of the messages, like in whomever going to messages at the time, the message is one is key, and after that inside that key means like an the messages is in one of the column, and inside who are going to chat the total of chat list, it will be in an order wise. Means like an it is an the total of information it is contained in message, and inside some values are there, key and values are there. So especially the person, this is the message. So those kind of, so and as well as in charts and emails and an SMS. So that is the one simple scenario. Other big data technologies, NoSQL, especially Cassandra and MongoDB, KazuDB, DynamoDB, and then Kafka and Scribe. These are also in big data tools like an Hadoop tool, and then like an license, Elasticsearch, and then Solar. Like these are means like an real time querying. Like an Elasticsearch, especially most of like a searching purpose. Suppose when you are going to search the like in Google, especially they are going to use an Elasticsearch only. Elasticsearch means like suppose if you have an thousands and billions of documents at the time, when you are going to search the key at the time, it will directly it will go and it will give the result. So it is like an Elasticsearch and then Solar and R Hadoop. R like an R it is an like a separate programming. Like and with the help of like an R programming, we can implement our code in Hadoop also. So that's why it's an R Hadoop, and then Storm, and then as well as Spark. Nowadays it is an one of the most important tool is like an Apache Spark. It is especially came with an fast like an fast cluster performance, especially for fast processing. Like an it is an especially an in-memory processing. In-memory processing means like an based on like an it will process total of an memory based, means and RAM based it will process. So the data process it will be speed. Means like the list is going on because so many, it is an open source tool. So many companies they are releasing their own tools, and finally it is going to merge with an Apache Hadoop Foundation, and then every tool now it is an almost 100 tools are there. So it will going on, but those are the some important tools are there, especially HFS and MapReduce, Big Hive, and then HBase, Flume. Those are